I didn't know, since we started this, since he went his way and I went mine, I've never considered Sirius to be in competition with us. They do their thing, we do ours. I'm a New York program. He's got a national program, a very different venue, which we all knew, a different set of challenges and a different set of competition than I have every day. I've never thought about his program, to be honest with you. And then I get hit with this whole thing that week about Dog had 56 guests, you had 6 guests, your response, and I'm like, response to what? I didn't know it was a competition. I mean, I didn't know that first of all, I didn't even know how many guests I had, and I sure wouldn't know how many guests Dog had. I had no idea. So I'm like, competition for what? I didn't know I was in competition. I just went down to do my program, my way from where I wanted to do it, by myself, and I wasn't worried about anything. That's all I did. Next thing I know, I'm getting asked these questions about, you're not getting the same guests and this and that. Well, first of all, to be fair to my guys, I put the show in a place where I wanted to do it from, A. B, ESPN and Sirius, which is about 100 and something guests at the Super Bowl, are off limits to my show. They are embargoed. So any of those guests are not allowed on my show. ESPN has made it impossible for any guest, including guys who are longtime friends of mine, to ever be on the show. They're banned from the show. We had no guests that are from ESPN. So ESPN brings an amazing amount of people who have some connection to ESPN down there, and they're not allowed on the show. So that takes up a lot of guests. Plus, I wasn't into the volume of guests anyway. It's not something I thought anything about all week. And then this idea, as I heard this morning, that I threw a fit when I found out that certain guests were on Dog Show. I never even knew who was on Dog Show. I had no idea. Day to day, I didn't know the whole time. And then this whole idea about Bill Parcells being on the show. First of all, and I threw a fit on Friday. Dog said after I found out Bill Parcells was on the show, I didn't even know when I left Tampa that Bill had been on the show. I had no idea. I'm going to let you know a little scoop now, just to show you how ridiculous that all is. I didn't even know Bill Parcells was in Tampa. And I didn't ask Bill to be on my show last week. As a matter of fact, like I said, I'll let you know a little scoop. Bill and I, who used to be very close, have not spoken in 6 months. We have had a little, I don't want to call it a falling out, whatever you want to call it. That's between he and I. But I have not spoken to him in 6 months. We have not spoken. So the idea that I cared where he was or anything, that's ridiculous. And I didn't throw a fit. I didn't even know till someone called me on Saturday and asked me for my response that Bill was on Dog Show. And I said, I have no response. I got no problem with it. It's fine. I didn't even know Bill was in Tampa, is what I said to the guy who called me, the writer. I said, I didn't even know he was there. I said, what do I care if he was on Dog Show? I don't understand. I never asked him to be on my show. And to be honest with you, I'm being as honest as I can be right now. I haven't talked to him in like 6 months, maybe 7 months. We've had a little, whatever you want to call it. That's between he and I. But that's a fact. So there's a little news bulletin for you. As far as me worrying about the guests that he had at the Super Bowl, I never thought about it. I could not be more honest. I didn't count the guests. I didn't even count the guests on my show. I did my show. My show is not in competition with dogs. I've never thought it was. And I have no ill will towards dogs. I don't think we're in competition. I really don't. My job's to do the same thing I've always done here. Do a good show, get good ratings, get good advertisers, get a lot of revenue, and make a lot of money. That's what I've for the station and for me. That's what my plan has always been. That's all I try to do. I never try to do anything else. I don't wish anybody else ill. Now, came up this morning, and Stern tried to stir it up, which you know he's going to do, that Dog didn't know what the ratings were on the show. Find that hard to believe since I've talked to him about it, Eddie's talked to him about it, but leave it at that. And then they come up, of course, with the idea that the ratings are all bad. The show is going to be canceled. I got calls today about my show being canceled. That the ratings are terrible. So I'll set the record straight once. And you got to be honest, folks. I haven't talked about the ratings since September. I talked about them once in September, and I'm going to talk about them now. And I'm not talking about them again. And I have not said one bad word about dogs since September. Not one. About anything. And I'm not talking about it on a day-to-day basis, nor do I expect to, nor do I have any ill will towards him. I think he's a friend. I think we had 19 great years together. And I cherish those years. If he doesn't, I can't do anything about that. And I'm sorry he's in a tough situation right now, I really am. But the idea that we're doing badly is just not fair to tell people that. Number one, these are the honest facts, and you can go check them. These are facts. These aren't opinions. These are facts. For the fall, we finished second. Okay? Last year in the people meters, they tracked them against the regular ratings. We finished fifth, me and Dog and I. This year we finished second. Right now for the winter book, we're running first. For the first 2 weeks of the winter book, we're running first by a lot. That's only 2 weeks, we're running first. My Sunday morning show, we had over a 7 rating for the NFL Now. We were basically in a dead-footed tie with WINS. We finished first and second. We finished first for the year, second for the fall, first for the entire 22 weeks of the NFL Now. Yes, had the best fall it's ever had. The ratings were up the entire fall, the biggest fall Yes ever had. You can check with Yes. They put out a press release about it. How good were the ratings? Well, Yes, in the worst radio market and TV market in the last 40 years, just gave us a 5-year deal at double the money we had on our last deal. For 5 years, double the money. Don't talk about money right now because it's not fair to people who are out of work, but more than double the money for the next 5 years. As me getting canceled, well, I have almost 6 years left on my contract. So I don't think we're getting canceled. The ratings are excellent. My Sunday night show was first 20 out of 22 weeks. My Sunday morning show is first. Right now, this show for the winter is first. Those are facts. If someone wants to tell stories, I don't really care. But you know, the problem is I have to answer these things. And then people will say that I'm bragging. I can't worry about that. I'm just telling you what a fact is. And I didn't start this. I didn't bring it up. I didn't say that his show was going to get canceled. I didn't make any jokes about Sirius. I've never said anything except nice things about Sirius. They made a big deal. They disparaged my producers in Tampa, made them both feel really bad, and we weren't in competition. I mean, I just went down there to do my show. I wasn't worried about where I did it from or who got what guest or stuff like that. The fact that I threw any fits in Tampa are total lies. No one could ever say they saw that because it didn't happen. I didn't even know those certain guests were on the show until I got home on Saturday, and I never had any reaction. I got asked questions about it, so I answered the questions. No reaction. So that's basically it. I have no ill will towards anybody. I hope they pull out of it. I don't want to see them go out of business. I wouldn't get any joy in seeing any of them go out of business. I hope they do very good business because their business and my business don't coincide. They're not my competitors. If they were on the air in New York, then it's my job to beat them. And I'm very competitive for that. And the idea that Dog's rooting against me, he made that very clear today. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And the idea that he's rooting for ESPN, that's good too. They need his help. They need him and a whole lot more before they're going to catch me. Okay? Because as sure as I'm sitting here, they're never catching me, and you can underline that. Okay? So the idea that they're chasing me down in Jersey or they're chasing me down somewhere, well, you know what? Bring friends and ban everybody you can ban and bring a whole more ammunition than you have so far because you have never gotten close. And you never will as long as I'm sitting here. Maybe someday after I'm gone, but not while I'm sitting here. You can take that to the bank, you can quote it, and you can hang it up in their offices and the Sirius offices. Because, as Yogi once said, you can look it up. And you want to see what the ratings are? And Dog's pals are like racemen in the media. Look them up and then write the facts. And check me on any one of the numbers I just gave you and write the facts. Okay? Because all those are facts. This show is doing great. My guys are doing great. And we're not worried about anybody else. And we work hard, and we don't give anybody else a hard time. But if you're going to come after us, then you better bring more than pea shooters if you're going to come after us. Because you know what? The fans been number one here for 20 years, and it's going to be number one long after I'm gone. But while I'm sitting here, you can be damn sure it's going to be number one back after this.
The Fan, WFAN New York.